The dog days of summer are here on Comic Book Canada. That's right. We are approaching mid-August, which is technically the dog days of summer, I think. I don't know. Growing up, I used to always hate seeing back-to-school commercials, so that meant the summer was ending, which I guess I equate to the dog days of summer, which means a lot of people are trying to take advantage of their last of their summer break, and maybe they don't have time for the world's most famous comic book show on the internet with millions and millions of people. People take vacations. Actually, they take vacations, including my good friend, partner in crime, and co-host of the show, Joseph. You are on vacation.
Currently on vacation, but I can't miss the canon.
Dedication.
I told everyone, I said, hey, I gotta, Sunday night, 8 to 10 p.m.
Got a thing.
Don't
got a thing.
Then.
I mean, we have 15 million people already watching. How great is that?
Amazing.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Christopher is off this weekend as well. I do believe that he's actually celebrating his birthday this weekend. Chet got it wrong. God, I can't stand
it. Was Chet's fault. We'll blame Chet, but
yeah, we'll talk to him in a little bit. We have some things to say. And he has some things to say as well. Anyways, with that being said, we kind of touched upon the fact these are the dog days of summer. Not much news going on at all, so we may as well just get this out of the way, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm just like, and I know you are too, furious at one of these things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
get to it in a second.
Yeah, there hasn't, to be fair, there has not been much news in the way of our community recently. So we've got a couple different things. The first one strongly related to this community, and it actually has something to do with what we reported on last week. Despite Gal Gadot's public announcement last week regarding a third Wonder Woman installment under the new production team at DC, it seems as though that is actually not happening. Last week, we reported right here on the show that, during an interview where the Wonder Woman actor spoke about working with James Gunn and Safran on a new film for their upcoming universe. But it seems that multiple sources have now come out refuting her statements. Could this be like some sort of a red herring to keep us guessing and not knowing what's to come? Or was this just wishful thinking by Gal Gadot, or something she was trying to, put into existence by talking about it? I don't know. But I don't know who to believe at this point. I think it's gonna take some time, and we'll get an announcement at some point.
Yeah, this is very strange. Gal Gadot she's been in the industry long enough to know how it works. She knows when she says something, it will make waves, especially something this significant to fans. And for it to be refuted the way it was is really I don't think they're playing games with us as fans, but I honestly don't know. Maybe she's bored. The actor strike, the writer strike, it's maybe she's just bored. I don't know. Again, she's savvy enough to understand what this does and what this creates. So who knows? Or maybe Gunn is just trying to keep things under wraps. I don't know. Yeah,
honestly, what might have happened, which this is the case with a whole lot of pieces of rumor and gossip and stuff like that. What might have actually happened is she might have sat down with Gunn and Safran, and she may have talked to them about something, the future of Wonder Woman. And then she went and got an idea in her head and spilled it, or she mentioned something about meeting with them and someone took it. I did not, see or read the interview myself, so I don't particularly know who said what, but this could just be like, a snowball effect of information where, oh yeah, I had a meeting with them. Who knows what's to come of it? And then that turned into, oh, yeah, there's going to be a third Wonder Woman movie. Yay.
There's three ways this could have gone. One, Gal Gadot just wanted to put it out there. Two, the interview got this, the journalist got this completely wrong. or 3, James Gunn did not want that out there yet. So there's probably more options. Who knows? But like, Jesus, man, this is I mean, yeah, like honestly, Tishu, DC are led by Barrel Monkeys. I don't know if that's the case anymore. However, I think they're dealing with the residual effects of the Barrel of Monkeys previously. So
yes,
who knows? All right, that is our first out of 2 news stories. What do you know, Dog Days of Summer? Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to do this a lot. I'm going to just remind people because we never do. But please continue the news.
Yeah,
this pisses me off.
Yeah, this is a bummer. Sorry to end on this one, but there just was not a lot of news. You know, the writer's strike and everything is, causing a lot of holdbacks and new announcements and stuff. But this one doesn't exactly have to do with the comic book community, but what I consider to be a cousin community of the comic book community. Collectibles in a way. There are collectibles in this, but just nerdy fandom. We're talking about the tabletop community, and the tabletop community spends all year waiting for Gen Con. And I've been to Gen Con. It is an amazing time.
I got a timeout.
Yeah.
I did not update the text over here. So that's my fault. So just don't get it confused. Listen to
we're not
listen to Joe, please.
We're not talking about Mutant Mayhem today. No, we're talking about Gen Con. It's the biggest and best event of the year as far as board games, card games, miniature games, and role-playing games. And those gamers from all across the country and beyond will converge in Indianapolis every year. It just happened last weekend. I've been. It's truly amazing. Think like a San Diego Comic-Con for nerds of a different feather. The tabletop gamers, the unplugged gamers, if you will. Before opening its doors to attendees this year, the show was immersed in a tense and unfortunate situation when over $300,000, that is more than $250,000 worth of merchandise, was stolen from Pastimes Comics and Games, an Illinois-based retailer who I personally have bought from many times in the past. Fortunately, cameras caught the 2 perpetrators making off with their pallet full of value, and they were swiftly identified as 2 New York City-based game designers. I haven't heard of an arrest yet, but I know that their picture is being plastered all over social media forums related to gaming, news stations, and things like that. And you can see right here, this is actually a post from Pastimes Comics and Games themselves on Facebook. And they're not getting away with this one, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, I just want to come around the corner and just tackle the 2 of them and beat the crap out of them. Wish we were there, Joe. Wish we were there.
Yeah. That's I think we would have been the muscle in that situation.
Oh, sure. Totally. When aren't we?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Usually,
especially you. Anyways, right there. That ends the news. Dog Days of Summer, right?
Dog Days of Summer.
And strikes. Not exciting. not exciting at all. But again, we bring you the news when we have it. We don't make the news. We're not that important, even though there's 21 million people watching right now. We are the most popular comic book show on YouTube. So we appreciate your support. And we're going to say hello to you in a second. But first and foremost, we got to say hello to he's actually been behaving himself lately. Chet has been behaving himself, everybody.
He's kind of growing on me. I'm honestly there. He's pulled some wacky stuff before. He said some kind of crazy things.
Yeah,
honestly, mean things, and just done some weird stuff. But fortunately, I feel like he's kind of figuring it out, and he's becoming a member of this team a little bit more.
He really is, and fact of the matter is, he was the one that gave a birthday shout out to Chris last week. It was his idea, even though he got it wrong. The intention was there. But Chet, welcome to the show.
Well, my devoted viewers, it's your one and only Chet G-Pot gracing you with my presence. Yes, that's right. I'm coming to you live from the extravagant beach abode of our dear Joe. Oh, how the commoners would weep at the sacrifices I make for the sake of my co-hosts. But let's not waste any more time on my selfless acts of generosity. After all, I'm sure you're all eagerly awaiting my pearls of wisdom regarding this week's comic disaster.
Okay, that's a little weird. Chet, you're right outside of Joe's place. You followed him down.
Hold on a second. I have a problem if this guy... I'll be right back.
That is very weird.
Are you serious? You followed me across state lines now? I'm on vacation with my freaking family, and you're outside, showing up unannounced? Dude, you need to get some serious help, please, for all our sake.
What's that, Joe? You want some space? Oh, don't worry, I completely understand. Living in the shadow of my magnificence must be quite suffocating. Fear not, dear Joe. I'll manage to endure your need for solitude. For now, let's return to what truly matters, me sharing my unparalleled insights with the world.
Yeah, that was, yeah, okay. I can understand that's a bit invasive. We were just giving him props, right? We were just giving him, hey, he's become a really good team member. He's become like, but that is just crossing the lines, and we do not approve of that, not one bit. Yeah. Joe, it's your time with your family. Enjoy it. Again, we appreciate you being on the cannon, but Chet, just respect boundaries. All right, moving on from that, Joe. Again, sorry about that. I didn't give him the address. But we do need to say hello to some wonderful people here. That's right. Dr. Plagueis, sock him up, Joe. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Tishu was saying the same thing. We got Jordan Nord. Production value of the show has gone sky high. Thank you for noticing. Yes, we did have a camera outside of Joe's rental in North Carolina there. We got Josh's Comics in the house. Yes, I did hear about that. Pete Keel is in the house as well. No, this is not Rebels, but kind of, I mean, within the same world, I guess, right? Yeah. We got Dan De La Torre, Jordan Nori. I said hello. We got Constantino Larata. Have we said hello to this person before? Maybe somebody we know.
I don't recognize that name.
I don't either, but hello. We have Raising Elm. Justin is going to be here in and out tonight's show, but howdy. Hopefully you did not miss what Chet did. We got Alicia Jardine. We got, who else do we have? Phil Ailing. I think Phil's from Philly, actually. Tony Trombetta in the house with EGS. We love you. We love the fact that you are part of Fresh from the Comic Shop each and every week. And we'll get to that in a little bit. We got Movie Fan 91. Who else? KJ Heights, up to you. We got 360s in the house. We got Spider Dude. Again, thank you to you, Fresh from the Comic Shop co-sponsor. We love you. Who else? Oh, who do we have?
Bond.
Paul Bond. I did not know I was taking that up. Nukes Comics in the house. Goonish Lurker in the house. What a wonderful show. Again, Dog Days of Summer. We are very happy that that you all are with us. Of all the people to stalk you, Chet is the last person I want stalking me. You're damn right about that. You are damn right about that.
He's still out there. Unreal.
Hey, grape soda. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, go into the street.
By the way, Constantine Lorraine, I've always watched you boys. We've never been formally introduced to today. Well, honestly, we are very happy because, again, time is the most precious commodity, and we appreciate the time you spend with us. Whew. All right. Oh, we did not say, hey, if you got questions for Joe, leave them in the chat.
True.
Before we introduced everybody. That is terrible.
Now's your chance.
That is terrible. So, please drop your questions for Joe. Ask Joe CBC in the chat because I have there it is. It's that time right now. But I want to Dr. Plagueis, I've got my beach trip coming in a couple weeks as long as I stay out of Joe's claims. True, but also now that you've said this to the world in front of 23 million people and Chet, you better watch out that Chet doesn't follow you. By the way, where are you going? Let us know. All right. So there is an Ask Joe actually. If you, I think somebody said it. If you had an unlimited amount of money, like an unlimited amount of money, what one comic book would you get, Joseph? But you can only buy one book from that unlimited amount of money, and then it all goes away.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways I could go with this. I think I want to go with an equal combination of personal connection, rarity / scarcity, and age and value, of course, which kind of with age and value, age and scarcity, comes value. So I think I would go with Detective Comics 27. That would be my choice. I am like eons more a Batman guy than Superman. I know there's a lot of people that would say Action Comics #1 because it started it all, but I am just way more into Batman. Also, there's less copies of Detective Comics 27 out there as compared to Action Comics #1, so it's more scarce. AF-15 initially popped into my head, but that book, despite being very valuable, is actually really plentiful, especially compared to the other two books that I mentioned. It's just the fact that Spider-Man is so gosh darn popular that the demand just way outweighs the supply. So yeah, I mean, it's got to be Tech 27 for me. First appearance of Batman. It is the DC book in my eyes, even more than Action Comics #1, and that's a personal opinion. There's certainly argument otherwise. That's the book. I would sink my money in, because there's less of a chance of me finding one of those out there as compared to an AF-15, and even compared to a Action Comics 1. But I like Batman a lot more than I like Superman. So that's
fair. That's fair. And again, because you're wrapping your personal preference in there as well as an kind of investment for yourself. And I like where you're going with that. And there are less Detective Comics 27s because of at least 30 years before Spider-Man came out, right? Amazing Fantasy 15.
Tech 27 was 1939, as opposed to 1962. So
23 years.
23 years. But 23 years, more importantly than that being 23 years, is 23 years and a period of time that comics were being literally set on fire in piles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the reason that all the books, pre-1960 are so much scarcer than the books post-1960.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are burnings.
Here's a good question coming from Jordan Norrie. So you got to figure where this is related, what this is related to for all of those that you haven't this is your first time watching. Maybe Jordan Norrie is a huge Thunderbolts fan. So is Joe a Thunderbolts fan? If not, favorite team?
So I admittedly am not very well read on Thunderbolts. I know of different variations of the team. I'll tell you this, as far as characters that have been members of the Thunderbolts, I am huge on Daredevil as a character. So Elektra and Bullseye, they have to be up there. They're way up there on my list of characters in general. So they're definitely going to be up high on that list of Thunderbolts characters. And am I remembering correctly that Agent Venom was it Agent Venom or Anti-Venom that was part of? It was one of them. I can't remember.
There's been so many different iterations of the team. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, so we'll go with the supporting Daredevil characters, and I know Jordan, his favorite character of all time is Bullseye, and then I hope to get a little bit more well read before the movie comes out. I'll say that I need to do some reading of myself.
Okay, I like the angle with Thunderbolts about kind of villains being hidden by the fact that there's a superhero team, yada yada yada. I read the first couple of issues, after their first appearance in the Hulk. I'm sorry, I just couldn't get into it and haven't read much after that. So maybe it's not indicative of what came down the line. And you all may be asking why I'm answering, because this is Ask Joe, CBC. Well, you know what? It's not only Ask Joe, CBC, but it's Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff will answer too. So, moving on from that, we are going to go to Josh's Comics. This is going. With my beach trip coming up, what's the best comic hunting advice for people while on vacation? Josh, this is a great question.
Sure.
I have to ask this that you can answer later. Joe's probably got some comments. I need to know who you're going with, if it's a significant other, if it's like your parents and siblings, etc. That's a big factor in that whole thing.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to be like bailing on the family or whatever too much. You got to have some time away of sort. I have not had a chance yet. I just got here last night, so it's gonna, I'm just getting into the swing of things of vacation today. Best comic hunting advice, probably, when you're on vacation, is it's always good, looking at comic shops can be a great place to start. But just remember, especially if you're around on like the weekends, yard sales and flea markets are everywhere. Especially if it's during the summer. I saw multiple signs for yard sales and flea markets when I was driving here yesterday, and I was so tempted to stop by. I didn't want to because I just wanted to get to vacation, but yeah, that was tempting. Asking locals where that kind of stuff is. It might not be listed online, like a certain flea market or something like that. But, you're up in the morning getting coffee at the cafe or breakfast or whatever. Ask the people that work there, hey, do you know of any like flea markets I could hit up? Anything like that in the area? And they might have a good answer for you. That always seems to be the best place to find comics, for a good value. Comic book stores obviously are great, but usually the prices are at or above market value, and you want to find the deals. So go hunting, really go hunting places that don't necessarily advertise comics.
I'm not by the way, it's Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff will answer too. I'm not ingrained into the flea markets and those things like you are. I will take the area. I will see what's available in terms of shops, because you can get some good deals and find some gems at shops, especially markets that are not as I know you're near the Philadelphia market there, Josh. So there are people who are very keep up with those types of things, where smaller town shops may not. They just they're there for the kids, the community, et cetera, which all shops are, whatever. But I think you can find better deals. I go through all of the review process, see what shops are around, Google reviews, look at those pictures, then I map it out. Then I tell either my significant other or my family, hey, I'm in, I'm going here. Hopefully there's some stuff around here that you'll like too. Let's try this. And if not, I need some me time. So that's how you do it. That is how you do it. We will move on to the next question. Although Josh did have a follow-up. Is Chet wearing a Speedo?
Thank goodness he's not. I'd probably just start driving back to Philadelphia if that's what I
Yeah, that would ruin everything. You would literally be scarred. You would need to start seeking therapy, those kinds of things. So that's good right there. That's not happening. All right, next up. Dr. Plagueis asked Joe when buying a collection, how hard is it to refrain from keeping all the good stuff for your PC? This is good. And if you do keep some, how do you counter that to turn a profit?
So, yeah, this is a great question, because that is such a balance that you have to have as, a comic collector, as a collection buyer, as a comic seller, vendor, whatever you want to call it, dealer. So what it comes down to for me is my collection is pretty narrow. It's not. I'm not keeping a book because it's the key. I'm keeping a book because it's something that I want. It's in a run that I want. It is one of the specific types of comics that I want. Code horror, Bronze Age horror, ASM, Claremont era X-Men. Frank Miller Daredevil, and Golden Age Batman and Detective Comics. That is the majority of my PC. There's some other things in there. Series I like, runs I like, first appearances, characters that I really enjoy. Yeah, someone's getting an echo. I'm hearing an echo now too.
Interesting. How about this? Yeah. How about you X out and come back in, and I'm going to take over this segment.
Ooh, okay. I will say one thing. Well, let me X out and come back.
Yeah, he's gonna X out. I don't do these. I've always been interested in buying collections like Joe does. I don't know. I don't have the capital to do it really, or the time to go hunting. But Joe literally is a master at this, and as you can see, he has kind of a system here where he knows. He kind of marks those top keys that he wants, or those specific runs, and obviously pulls from that. He's so good at finding so many books in a collection. He easily makes his money back and then some. But I was just talking about you and me, the difference between us. How's it sound now?
Well, let's find out. I still hear the echo.
I don't. You know what? It's Chet. Yo, at the same. seriously, Chet is trying to cut the Wi-Fi. I don't think it's a Wi-Fi situation. I think it's literally
mute
Chet
yourself for a second.
Mute myself and mute.
All right, so Jeff's muted, and I'm not hearing an echo anymore. So Jeff, stay muted when I'm talking, and then I'll let you know when you have permission from me to speak. Otherwise, you keep your dirty mouth shut. So anyway, talking about collections, you know, there are certain collections that I don't profit on. I recently, you may remember, I bought 5 Amazing Spider-Man books from someone. It was issues 3, 5, 6, 9, and 14. I only sold 2 of those books, keeping the rest for the PC. I did not make a profit off that collection. In fact, I lost money, but I gained 3 books for my personal collection. That's okay. You know, I was using that collection to build for the personal collection. But most of the time, you try to buy at enough of a, you know, enough under fair market value that you can sell what you don't want and at least break even, if not be at a profit already. And then the books that you're keeping for yourself are just gravy. There are collectors that collect a lot more of a wide array of things than me. Jim from Bronzeville Comics, a great example, because he loves full runs. He loves boxes and boxes of full runs of titles that he enjoys. I don't need all that. I'm fine with reading digital comics, trade paperbacks, and stuff like that. I don't have a need to have every single Daredevil book, but I want to have the Frank Miller run. So I'm a little bit more condensed and focused on that stuff. And at this point, I will relinquish the mic to Jeff so he may say words.
Thank you. Really appreciate the way this is all working. Therefore, I can't cut you off. Yeah, I'm not a full run collector. I don't have the space these days for it anymore. And I feel like I can get anything I want online. Although I've been trying to cut down on my collection, and it seems to be growing and growing and growing. And I know compared to you and Chris, mine's minimal. It's over 5,000 books. But that's still pretty substantial for a house I'm in. So again, I'm not one of those, but I do like to pick up some key books, some books that are significant to me as well. So anyways, I don't know if that answered anything, but I told you as Mark Leneker said, ask Joe plus Jeff ask Joe plus unsolicited Jeff. That is correct. All right. What do we have here? We have to have another question here. Is there still an echo? Because I see you're off mute. Look at Mike. Wow, cutting off Jeff. Ask Joe CBC, as in ASS, as in Joe's an ass. Wow, actually, Mike's sticking up for me. Usually we're like this. Anyways, moving on. Do we have any more questions here?
Peak heel.
Let me. Oh, Joe, we have a new LCS that overprices their books by a lot. We know these stores. And their grading skills are poor. When asked why I don't come in very often, should I say something or nothing and just buy elsewhere? I do have a question though. Do they ask why you don't come in often? Either way, Joe's about to answer, and I'm going to go on mute. I mean, do you hear an echo still?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! All right.
Sorry, buddy. We'll let you talk at some point. You can just do this. The thumb twiddle. Do that for a minute. Yeah, there we go. Oh, good, Jeff. Good boy. All right. I want to stop ragging on Jeff. He's a great guy. Anyway, yeah. So, if you're asked about that, I certainly think if they're specifically asking you, it is totally appropriate for you to be honest. And, as long as you feel comfortable with it, no pressure, you're not obligated to give them business advice. But if they ask and, you would like to share that with them, they might take that to heart. Everyone's different. Some people, if you talk about their pricing or their grading, and I've had this happen at stores, I've had this happen at comic conventions, you just get a pushback. You get that person being stubborn and arguing with you. And at that point, you don't want to give that person business anymore. And, that's okay. Sometimes it doesn't work out, especially if they're not willing to listen to their customer base. Maybe you give them that information. They're like, okay, let's kind of tone down our prices. Maybe go use a different site or something like that. Or maybe they practice their grading skills a little bit better and try to step up their game as far as being more accurate with that. If it is unsolicited, if they're not asking you, I still think it is appropriate, especially if you know them well, to, not in a public setting, not with other customers in the store, but maybe be like, hey, I'm a local, and I've had this conversation both about comic books, about Magic the Gathering stores, something else that I was very involved with for a large portion of my life, and I want those local stores to thrive. I've said, hey, I think you guys could do this better. This is what I've heard from other people. This is what I feel myself that you could do better. For Magic the Gathering and other card game stores, it's usually raising the prize support or having more tournaments available. With comic stuff, it's mostly like the prices and, the availability of stuff, making sure that, the stuff is on the shelf as far as new books, the stuff is in the back issue bins that people want. And, just having the stuff people, will be willing to buy. Totally fair to give your advice. And again, some people are going to take it to heart and listen, and other people are going to be jerks. And that's just the way it is. Jeff, you may now unmute yourself and talk.
Is it still echoing? Because I X'd out.
Let's find out. No, I don't hear an echo now.
Technical whiz right here. I'll tell you what. If I'm not asked, I'm not going back. If I'm asked, I will open it up to them and tell them how much they suck and why they suck. I can't stand anything more than people. You see a book. It's got the price tag on there. You walk up to the counter. They do one of these. It's $3. Oh, that's $25. It says $3 right there. Yeah, but the app says it's $25. So again, that's just terrible. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want that. I don't think they'll ask me why I don't want that. But anyways, I just walk away. But if I'm asked, I will be completely honest. I don't care about hurting feelings. They're the ones that are losing my business and probably losing a bunch of other people's business. So there you go. And some of you may be asking why I'm answering. It's because it's Ask Joe or Ask Joe CBC, and Jeff will answer too. We should make an acronym out of this. I'll get to that for the next answer you have. Ask Joe CBC. I was at this is a really interesting question from KJ Height. I was at an LCS that doesn't bag or board any of their books. Is this normal?
Definitely not. Most stores don't bag and board new books. Most of the time, the weekly releases are just put out on the shelf. There are stores that do. My LCS particularly doesn't. They will bag and board the ratio variants, the one per store variants. The better, the better books. You can debate that all you want. The books that are selling at a higher than cover price. But as far as their regular cover A's, cover B's, and stuff like that, they don't. But my store does something cool. They have a stack of already put together bags and boards up at the counter, and they're like $0.25 each or something like that. So if you're not a person who buys a whole pack of bags and boards and does it yourself, if you go in weekly and buy, 1, 2, 3 comic books or whatever, you can just get them right there, which I think is a really good idea. But if we're talking about back issues here, they should be bagging and boarding everything other than dollar bin stuff. And some stores even do board dollar bin stuff. I don't think that's quite necessary, but if they have books that are like, even $3, $5, $10, they should be bagging and boarding them. That's not very good customer service, in my opinion. And it's really not helping their inventory because it's just going to get damaged over time.
Totally. Yeah. Again, if they're the books of the week or the past few weeks, okay, that's pretty normal to have them on the shelf still like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Even the past couple months. But again, like long boxes of like books, again, that you Joe said anywhere from 3 and up, it's like you want to protect those books, so it doesn't make much sense to me at all. And some of you may be asking why I'm answering, because it's Ask Joe CBC, and Jeff will answer too. And Joe and the rest of all you wonderful people, better known as AJCBCAJWANT.
Or for short, Ajwant.
Yep. You're all welcome. We're not going to charge you extra for that hashtag either. We are not going to charge extra. There's another good question here. I love Dan's question here. Dan De La Torre asks Joe, what do you do when you know more than the comic store owner?
I mean, listen, I don't mean to like toot my own horn here, but realistically, I know a lot more about the collectible side of comics. I'm not saying I know more about the current books that are coming out, and like I'm not saying I've read more comics, but as far as the collectible side of comics, grading, pricing, knowing the keys and stuff like that, I know more than almost all comic store employees in my area, and a lot of the owners as well. In fact, some owners, they're just readers. They don't. I know comic store owners that are very passionate about comic books and the stories and the creators, and again, that's awesome. And I definitely don't hold myself in higher regards to them just because that's what they focus on. But I focus on more the collecting side of comic books. So when it comes to that and comes to the retail, I honestly do know more about comics. So I try to always learn from each other, because no one in this community, no matter if you've been doing it for 50 years, no matter if you're, deep in it now and have been in it for a couple months or whatever, no one knows everything, and we can all learn from each other. So it is great to talk to those, comic store owners that are readers and have been reading for decades sometimes, and talk to them about their favorite stories and get their suggestions about things that you can check out. And vice versa. If that's more your thing, if you're more of a reader, talk to those comic stores and let them know, because they'll probably order that trade paperback or something like that. So yeah, when there is a disconnect in the knowledge, which there always is going to be, because no one knows everything, learn from each other. That is the best advice anyone could give about anything, honestly.
That is a great answer. I'm just going to add something here, because this is a very egocentric kind of hobby, right? You have people that feelings get hurt really easily. So in my opinion, I don't think anything should be said unless you get an answer that's completely wrong and it's going to affect the price of the book that you're buying, et cetera, then you bring it up politely, especially if you like the person. However, if it keeps going back and forth, then you hurt feelings. So I just want to say that. But other than that, we can all learn from each other, because there's no way to know every little bit of piece of information from this amazing hobby, because it's been around for so long, and there's just so much involved in it.
And keep in mind, a store that's opened by someone who's not as knowledgeable about comics, maybe that person is very good at running a business. Maybe that person has great connections in the community, and they can bring something to the table. And if you help, educate them and learn them on the comics, whether it's, the reading, the history, the pricing, the collectability, so on and so forth, you can improve that store. And when the stores do well, the community does well. That is just straight up the truth. We want comic stores to succeed. We want them to do well. We want them to have people go in there and buy books weekly. We want them to have back issues. We want them to have events. We want them to stay in business, because without comic book stores, there aren't new people getting into the hobby. There aren't people expanding their hobby. There aren't people getting back into the hobby. There's been many times in my life that I did not buy a comic book for years at a time. And you know what? I found myself wandering back into a comic store for some reason. If that comic store hadn't been there, I might not be here right now.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And again, PKL, we just talked. I've walked out when prices changed at the register, and twice when I said something about prices, his wife just says, somebody will buy it. Thanks for your opinion and thoughts on it.
Listen, not every store is going to do the right thing. There are stores that are run by people that will change the price at the counter. There are stores run by people who are, for lack of a better word, giant assholes, and you don't want to support them. And that is okay. You don't have to support every comic shop if it's not for you for some reason or another. But, when we have the opportunity to improve someone's business, improve a community, I think that is a really good thing to do, for everyone.
Absolutely. And Dan, this is not an egotistical question at all. It's actually a good question.
I just automatically assume that Dan knows more about everything than everyone. Like, he's the really the brains behind the comic book canon operation. He's pulling the strings for me and Jeff and Chris.
Dan, when buying a house, are you the one that are you the inspector? Because you probably do know more than the inspector does. Please answer that as well. Also, AJCBCAJWANT. Anyways, moving on. I don't understand this quite. By the way, Popa Chili Town, Mike, he regrets sticking up for me because I came up with that hashtag, but too bad. I don't understand this one from Mike. How do YouTube sports guys take it when you give them free advice about comic grading?
Yeah. Mike had an interaction. If I remember this,
I can't wait for this story.
An interaction with a comic book YouTube guy. Not a comic book, a sports card YouTube guy that had come across some comics and, was Mike gave some unsolicited but very good advice. And if I remember correctly, the guy freaked out to the point where it's like, yo, I think that any adult that gets this upset over literally nothing might need some psychiatric help.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. But anyways, by the way, I do want to say we have 27 million people watching and only 16 million likes. We appreciate you guys watching us, but 16 million likes. Anyways, and I think, hold on, let me check. That may be, get your question in now before I scroll through here and I don't see anything. So that right there, Joe, we messed up big time.
Hope saying Mike did. I actually think that might have been me. Now that I think I projected that on Mike because he was the one that was talking about it. Never mind. I actually think that was me, that I commented on it. Listen, man, so much has happened in the last 2 years as far as social media and stuff that
it rots your brain.
Maybe it was me. For some reason, I was thinking it was Mike, but maybe I see myself in Mike.
Absolutely, because he's your mentor.
Totally me.
He is your mentor, and Chet is his mentor. As he was, by the way, it was totally you. That's amazing, by the way. It's called projection for sure. Guys, we cheated you out of something wonderful.
The
opening segment or the opening theme song to Ask Joe. So we'll have to just close on it.
Oh, we did.
Ready?
We did.
Yeah. Here we go. Ask Joe. Well done with the extended bass right there. The backwards hat guy. That's definitely Joe, as you can see from the Ask Joe.
Backwards hat guy.
Oh, right there. All right. That's one of the best Ask Joe segments ever because we came up with this hashtag that we hope you guys start using. Okay, it's easy to memorize. Start using this instead of Ask Joe CBC, please. Thank you. We'll get a ton of those now, like millions and millions and millions. All right, moving on though. Chet is Chet still outside? Check, please.
Oh my God. Yes.
Well, at least we know he's ready. Hey, Chet.
He's got the. When you do this with your phone, you had the flashlight on.
Yeah. Chat. Hopefully you have your IFB in your earpiece because we need you to do new comic book day picks as you do every week. Thank you.
Well, my comic connoisseurs, brace yourselves for another round of astounding entertainment. I present to you the most mind-blowingly underwhelming comic picks of the week. First up, Batman and Superman World's Finest number 18. Think you know their origin story. Think again, because nothing says gripping narrative like retelling an untold tale that almost destroyed their partnership. Oh, but don't worry. The death of Venomverse number 2 is here to grace us with its brilliance. Enter the Symbiote 6 because apparently we needed more symbiote shenanigans. David Michelini offers a classic tale that's probably just as classic as a stale sandwich. And of course, let's not forget the piece de resistance, Taigami's world-altering creation Venom Boy. An absolute must-read, I'm sure. Last but not least, Void Rivals number 3. Kirkman and DeFelici are back with yet another shared universe disaster. Garak and Solila, the dynamic duo facing a new threat, while some other prisoners tag along for the ride. Riveting, really. So there you have it, my fellow enthusiasts of top-notch storytelling. These picks are the epitome of the comic world's current state. A thrilling blend of repetition, lackluster narratives, and questionable decisions. But fret not, I'll be here weathering the storm of mediocrity, so you don't have to. Until next time, my brave comic voyagers, stay thirsty, drink grape soda, and remember to pee. Chet out. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, he is, yeah. Chet's laugh will haunt my dreams forever. All right.
Make sure the door's locked.
He also put on the rundown that he does have a fresh from the comic shop pick this week. I can't wait to see what books he shows us. But that being said, World's Finest 18, the origin of how Superman and Batman met, Venomverse, Death of Venomverse 2, Venom Boy. But I am psyched about Dark Rivals number 3. I really enjoy this series, by the way. I think I showed off my number 2 a couple weeks ago. I really enjoy this series. Absolutely. So I'm definitely getting that based off of Chet's review. You going to pick anything up?
So currently the only stuff on my pull list is Amazing Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. But starting next month, add Red Goblin to that list. Starting, I think, November, also add Spider-Boy and the Uncanny Spider-Man, which is Nightcrawler, my favorite character, as Spider-Man, my second favorite character.
Yes, that's right. We don't do this enough. Talk about what we're going to pick up, what we're interested in reading. I'm definitely interested in Spider-Boy and seeing what his origin is, because I think there's something behind that. There's substance. I do think that. We both have said that, right? Why are you giving me this look?
I'm giving Pete Keel a look because I think he's inferring that Chet needs to look like me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, that may be next, actually. He is kind of psycho. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm excited for those books that you said as well. Sure. Actually, I'm not interested. Why are you interested in Red Goblin?
So Red Goblin is the artist, Chris Capagna, is starting with the next issue. And I spoke with him at Terrificon, and he said, yo, it's some good stuff. I just bought a piece of art from him. I think I showed it on the show.
Yes.
Rider, and he's currently the artist on Ghost Rider as well. And he's taken over Red Goblin. And he said there's some good storylines coming. So we'll see.
Yeah, but
who knows?
He's biased. He's also wants you to buy the book. I don't know, man.
It's on my pull list. Listen, if worst comes to worst, I get the book. I get it signed by him at the next, New Jersey convention that he's at or whatever, and everybody's happy.
All right. Hey, tell us what you guys are watching or you guys are looking forward to. You're obviously watching us. What you guys are looking forward to in terms of books that are coming out. Do any of those picks from chat interest you? Let us know. Also, 27 million people in the chat. Only 17 million likes. Anyways, we love that you're here. We absolutely love that you're here. Because right now, 28 million people are going to have the pleasure of watching this segment we do each and every week, where you can win a wonderful prize. Monthly prize and then a yearly prize. That's right. What's it called, Joe?
Fresh from the comic shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That's right. You, the audience, send us your fresh gets, and we show them off on this wonderful segment. But not only that, by submitting, you are entered to win an amazing prize from our co-sponsors, Spider Dude Comics and EGS. That's right. You can win a slabbed comic book every month. And the monthly book, we just revealed what it was last week. It is straight up fire. That's right. Look at this. Darth Vader, black, white, and red in a 9.8. Look at that beautiful custom designed label right there. Courtesy of EGS, and the book is from Spider Dude. We are gearing up to announce what our yearly book, the grand prize, is. So again, you give us your submissions, make them top notch. You definitely want to submit for this, because each I'm losing it, Joe. I am absolutely losing it. I'm talking slower than I'm thinking, and I can't catch up. But anyways, everybody who wins each month is then entered in to win the grand prize, the yearly book, which is going to be a beast, an absolute beast. Is that right, Joe?
It's going to be a beast and a half, actually.
Beast and a half, which is one beast, and then add a half of a beast. That's a big beast. But anyways, let's talk about EGS Comics. Wait, hold on. What do you got?
Oh, Mike Haggs said, like the East Bay shirt. Shout out East Bay Comics. Angel, awesome dude.
There we go. We got the shout out. Angel's obviously watching because there's 24 million people here. We got EGS right here. That's right. You got the optional customized labels, as you saw with this Darth Vader red, white, and black. You got free graders notes and fast turnaround times. EGScomicsgrading.com. Save 5% off your order with the code Cannon5. And Joe, Chris, and myself, we praise this beautiful, beautiful customized. Again, I'm doing it again. They have awesome cases. They're better than CBCS and CGC, in my opinion. I think, Joe, you said that as well. We love it. And SpiderDudeComics.com down below. The link is down below. Giving us the book each and every month. Joe, I need a breather. All right, so submitting each book each and every week. Think about this. Think about submitting, because we have 3 criteria for your submissions. First is presentation. Take a well-composed shot. Have that shot kind of get artistic with it. Have it relate to the book, the story, what have you. A guy like Raising Elm Comics does a great job with that. Unique. How unique is the book? Again, the book doesn't need to be how much?
$30,000.
No, it can be $3. But is it unique? Have we not seen it before? Is it one of a kind? Show it. Show it off. And story. Pull at our heartstrings. We want to see what this book means to you. Does it remind you of the book, the first book you pulled off the rack? Does it remind you of a family member? Does it inspire you to do something, and that's why you got your dream job? Let us know. Let us know in the comments what it means to you. That goes a long way. Joe.
Amen.
Amen. All right, here we go. We're going to start it off this week with a unique book and a great story. Mark Leneker does this very well each and every week. Dopey Duck, #1 from fall of 1945. Represents a bit of a personal milestone. My first timely comic. Dopey Duck only lasted 2 issues before changing its name to Wacky Duck and lasting until issue 6. It was briefly revived in 1948 for 2 more issues. I mean, the fans must have been clamoring for this. The character Casper Cat, who was introduced here and had his and Dopey Duck stories reprinted by IW Enterprise in 1958 and 1963. Based on the cover, do you think publisher Martin Goodman got a letter from Disney or Warner Brothers lawyers? I mean, right there. This is amazing how people just try to cheat IP decades ago. How much easier it probably was for them to do it because the internet did not exist. Tell me more, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, this is very clearly a Donald Duck looking character who it's basically a hybrid of Donald Duck and Elmer Fudd. And then clearly this rabbit in the background is a Bugs Bunny ripoff. So yeah, I would say that Warner Brothers had a field day and Disney might have even gotten involved as well. But sure is cool. That's awesome. And congratulations on your first time.
Absolutely. It's awesome. So cool. Mark Leneker, I love the stories he brings. Paul Bond. Jeff is as winded as Chet after pounding some grape sodas. I think Chet is less winded than I am. Nukes. Is Joe's mic low or Jeff way too loud? I mean, I guess I'm kind of loud. I've been told that before. And yes, P. Keel, I don't have any EGSS, but man, the eye appeal is amazing and they feel good in the hand. Absolutely. I don't shake mine like that. Moving on, we got Marvel Man 616 Comics, Daredevil 11 and 14, featuring the first appearance and first cover appearance of the Muse. The Muse is a pretty damn demented villain. If you haven't read the stories of him, you should. If you like the darker stories of Marvel, this is a good one. I checked it out online. Highly recommend it. Can't beat finding them both for $2.50 total. Wow.
Nice.
Of Daredevil back issue bin. Couldn't believe they were still sitting around. I agree with that because the rumor is Muse will be one of the villains in the Daredevil Reborn series. I loved the run with Muse and Daredevil's sidekick, Blind Spot, I think his name was.
Blind Spot.
Really demented villain. So I suggest you guys read and pick them up if you can find them, because again, who knows if this rumor is true, but he's a very cool villain. Joseph, first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
So I actually didn't pick anything new up this week. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you who have been living under a rock and haven't seen my most recent couple YouTube videos, I picked up a crazy collection. It is, in my opinion, the best collection that I ever picked up. And it's so good that I actually had to split it into 6 different videos. I put out 3 of them already. Woo! The Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Silver Surfer video, the DC video, because the guy was mostly Marvel, so I got all the DC in one video, and then the X-Men and X-related titles, the Mutant video. Those are the 3 that have come out so far. This upcoming week, I have 3 more coming out. They are going to be the Avengers and Avengers related. So it's got Iron Man, it's got Thor, it's got Hulk, Captain America. The miscellaneous Marvel, that's going to be all the stuff that wasn't encompassed in the first 3 Marvel videos. And then, of course, the indie books. Gotta represent and show some indie books, which include some really cool Golden Age books. So I'm going to start off with one of those. And I don't have this in a bag and board yet. And I brought it on vacation in a box of stuff that is some of it's bagged, some of it's boarded, but kind of doing some organization and stuff. This is All Famous Crimes number 8, issue number 8 of All Famous Crimes. And I almost dropped it just then.
I saw that. It was a nice catch.
I saw that line. Like, I caught it.
Yeah.
But it is actually in pretty solid mid-grade condition. The thing that makes this book really, really special is it's got an L.B. Cole cover. L.B. Cole, one of the more popular artists of the Golden Age. And this is a pre-code crime L.B. Cole cover. And just about every L.B. Cole cover, at least every one that I've ever seen, you can see his name somewhere. And right here at the bottom of this card, L.B. Cole right there. Thought this was really cool, worth showing off. This might stay PC. We talked about this earlier. You got to keep some stuff. This might be one that I end up keeping just because I do love L.B. Cole. The only thing that is kind of making me think on that one is I'm not a huge crime collector. I'm more the pre-code horror stuff, but it's L.B. Cole. I might make an exception for that.
What year did you say again? I don't know if you made mention of that.
In early 50s, probably 51.
Very nice pickup though.
1951, Star Comics or Star Publications.
That's by the way, Paul Bond is calling you out. See, he brought an L.B. Cole cover book raw down to North Carolina.
To be fair, what I did was I took a bunch of books from this collection that I was still working on processing for my YouTube videos. I put them in a short box together. There is a chunk that have not been put in bags and boards yet, and I put those in the middle to protect them. But I really wanted to show this off for the video, for the show tonight. So I did pull it out very carefully. Don't worry. And I didn't even drop it once.
Not once, but almost once, but not once. Doesn't count as a drop.
Sure.
Does not count as a drop, just like maybe A.J. Brown catching a Jalen Hurts touchdown pass or something. I don't know. Anyways. Yep, we're getting to football season, everybody. Joe and I are excited. Next up, we have Son of Comics. What do you got, Son of Comics? Miles Morales, Spider-Man 1, signed by Duke Ryun. Man, this is a 1 Miles cover that hits hard. Duke Ryun, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Nailed this cover. Now it's home where it belongs. Enjoy the drop. Yeah, this cover, I remember when it came out. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Look at the electricity come off of his left hand. And it's Red Hulk approved, if you all didn't notice that, by the way. Red Hulk approved. Next up, we have Into Oblivion. Into Oblivion loves his Invincible. And why not? With covers like this, I mean, Jesus. We got Invincible #1, the first appearance of Invincible, first appearance of Omni-Man, the father of Invincible, first appearance of Deborah Grayson, the mother of Invincible, first appearance of Titan, first appearance of William Clockwell, Invincible's best friend, first appearance of David Isles, a physics teacher, first cameo appearance of Adam Eve. First, a cameo appearance of Science Dog on a comic cover, variant cover art by Tyler Kirkham featuring Omni-Man. I think this is a San Diego Comic-Con, maybe variant of some sort. But, man, look at this. Look at how badass that cover is. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. I went to my local comic shop today and sniffed around the long boxes and stuff like that. And I found a few gems, I have to say. I think you'll be proud of me, Joe, because these are not just things that I'm pulling up just to read. These are kind of fun books. I'm going to go with this.
I can't say that I've ever been proud of you, but I mean, hey, take your shot right now.
Take my shot.
Take your shot at making me proud. Dan wants me to repeat that. You were talking very fast a second ago.
God. Okay. Let me know specifically what you want repeated, and I'll do it. All right, here we go. I have Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, number 254. It's the first appearance of Typhoid Mary.
Yes.
In a newsstand right there.
Woo.
Presents very well. It's actually in really good condition. And I got it for $3. How's that?
Oh, that's a great buy. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
High grade, that book's $20-$25 all day.
Yeah,
you know, first appearance of a character who has crossed over out of Daredevil, has tangled with Spider-Man plenty in the 90s.
Yep.
I think that's a pretty underrated book from the Copper Age, in my opinion. And
she was in Daredevil. I think in the third season on Netflix. So
third, yeah.
Yeah, which I do like. I did like that series, by the way. But yeah, I was happy to find that, and I found some more too that I think you'll be very happy to see.
You might get that. You might. I might be a little proud of you now.
Thank you. And that was the first book too. I got more coming. Don't you worry about that.
Just a little.
Don't you worry about that. I got more coming. Who else do we have here? Oh, we got Bond, Paul Bond, aka.
Brixton and Company, LLC.
That's right. What do you got here, Bond, Paul Bond? Why do I not have it? There it is. Before I ran out to pick up that press on Saturday, by the way, he sent a video of the press he picked up in a video, and he submitted it for Fresh from the Comic Shop. How do we punish him, Joe? What should we do?
A public.
Yeah, he should have. I want a video, a public apology. Paul, send us a public apology video, and we will play that for the wonderful audience next week. So, anyways, after the press on Saturday, he stopped by his comic booth. He has set up at Renninger's Flea Market in Kutztown to bring in some new books. Before he left, I'm going to read it as he wrote it. Before I left, I did a walkthrough of the outdoor flea market and spotted this, thinking at first it was an old pulp magazine for sale. At first, I thought this was just a reprinted print of the cover. However, I noticed the color bar at the bottom and the corners had alignment marks. I asked how much, and they told me $2. I walked away and continued to check out the rest of the market, all while feverishly searching online to see if I could find reprints that looked like this. I found one reprint on Etsy, but it didn't look like this. I decided to pick it up for $2 on my way out. After getting back home and doing some research, it seems to match up with being an original cover print proof from the few examples of old pulp cover proofs I could find. That's really cool. That's unique right there, by the way. Awesome. He also has a closer picture of that. I think that's super cool. So Paul Bond, well, way to go. You still owe us an apology, though. Next up, we have Union Josh Comics. Myself for Fresh from the Comic Shop this week and UK Comic Weekend. A couple books I grabbed while on holiday this last week. Hulk Comic 31, Origin of Captain Britain, and Captain Britain Volume 1, number 4, first cover appearance of Hurricane. These UK books are really awesome to find. Grabbed both of these at an Emporium last week. And love finding these old books and some that are absolutely under the radar. Who knew Captain Britain's origin was in a Hulk comic? Not me. All origin stories published by Marvel UK, and the Captain Britain Volume 1 books are just something special. Written by the legendary Chris Claremont, who does a fantastic job here, and some of my favorite artwork on covers by Herb Trimpe. one of my new goals is to get the first run of Captain Britain. Let's see if you've got a UK book this week. I think this is the only submission we do have a UK book, unless Joe, you have one, because I don't. What is your next fresh get
of the week? Well,
yeah,
it's not a UK book, but it is also not an American book.
Ooh.
This was in that collection as well. This is one of the kind of odds and ends. And I think I'm going to do, once I'm done the 6 main videos, I'm going to do a video of all the weird stuff that I found as well in this collection. And this is definitely going to be one of them. This is El Asombroso Hombre Araña, which I have to assume means the Amazing Spider-Man. I know.
By the way, how great was that segue for an international book? It wasn't UK. Great. Love it.
Yeah, and I can see up here we got Sindicato Sinestro, the Sinister Six, the Sinister Syndicate. The Sinister Syndicate, I guess.
Yeah.
So this would have been a late 80s Spider-Man book. Yeah,
I know the cover of that book too.
1987. So I'm pretty sure this would be an original printing of a foreign book. This isn't like some kind of reprint. This book it's like I said, it's listed 1987, which is about when this issue specifically came out, late 1980s, with the Sinister Syndicate here. So I have to think this is an original. I haven't done any research. I don't know too much about foreign books. There's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do. But yeah, I mean, it says like officially licensed by the Marvel Entertainment Group. P.S. This is the Mexican printing. It does say Mexico on it. So really cool. Awesome.
I wish I could pull that the actual cover of the book from the original run up. I'll bet you the cover's different. Yeah, I remember this book though, and so it's probably an alternate cover that they had produced, and they gave it to the internet. That's probably how they rolled with the international book. So that's really cool. I really, really like that book. I have to find out what issue that is, or if you all know, and put it in the chat, please. Moving on, we have. By the way, it was Amazing Spider-Man though. It was Amazing Spider-Man. I know that. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I was pretty sure.
Yeah. Next up, we have Dr. Plagueis. This guy. Wow. How about this John Boy cover? I really hope to have it signed by him one day. The cover's outstanding. The setup is outstanding again. Wow. And by the way, again, he did it again. But great. Not eligible to win this week. No, because he's in the semifinals, which we have not put up yet. That's my fault. It was a very busy week. You could find me some pay from the Comic Book Canon paycheck, because you are the CFO, I believe, of Comic Book Canon, right?
Sure. I guess.
We just came up with that just now. But anyways, we will get the semifinals up. The first semifinals for August up, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. But also, Dr. Plagueis has something really cool on his Instagram that I cannot copy and put up here because it's a video with an unlicensed song, and they probably would have taken us off the air. So he said this: after a lifetime of shopping my local comic shop, I got the highest honor very, very few people have had, getting to go down and have my way with about 400,000 comics that have been down there anywhere from 10 to 40 years. The few comic collectors in my town that know about this stash dream of this opportunity. And after being a loyal customer for 20 plus years and building a lot of trust with the owner, he let me down for as long as I wanted. Wow. So I compiled that into a reel, and it's very fresh from the comic book shop, asbestos and all. Y'all have to check it out. Dr. Plagueis, if you are still here, I know you were here earlier, please drop a link to that. I couldn't get a link. I apologize, but drop a link to that reel. He got some great gets right there. Great gets. Speaking of great gets, remember when I was talking about the gets that I got? The gets that I got.
You claimed that I would be proud, and I said maybe a little bit on that first one. Let's see if you can up the ante here a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You were, right?
Yeah, I was a little bit.
Okay, a little bit. All right, so how about this? Again, this is Daredevil. It's a double-sized issue, okay? Double-sized issue. It's issue 190, The Return of Elektra, in a newsstand for $5. Okay. You don't seem as impressed, but I love this cover. I didn't check into it.
That's a great run. That's a great book. It is late in the. It's actually the second to last book of the Frank Miller, the original Frank Miller run. It is a phenomenal cover. It's a great story. Now, the other one was a better.
Okay, it's fine. I still got one more book, Joe. I got one more book.
I'm still in that. We'll see that last.
Mildly impressed. I'm mildly impressed.
You got to tip me over the edge on that last book.
Yo, this cover, I love this cover though. It's almost like Barry Windsor Smith-ish right here. That's like how he draws his faces, right?
Windsor Smith-ish.
Really cool. I think I just came up with the term. Barry Windsor Smith-ish. Anyways, I do love this cover, and for $5, I was like, what the hey? What the hey indeed. Next up, speaking of Josh's comics, he said Daredevil 168 or bust. I did not get that for $5 on a newsstand. I apologize.
It's
by the way, Dr. Plagueis, drop that link to your reel, man. People are going to want to see that for sure. All right. Josh's comics, though, we got you right here, buddy. We got you right here. Incredible Hulk, King Size, Annual number 5, second appearance of Groot in an origin story. This week's Fresh from the Comic Shop is the second Groot appearance. It's definitely a much more affordable copy than the first appearance. Seems a few Guardians have made their second appearances in Incredible Hulk, like Rocket did it in issue 271. Some people think that's his first appearance, but I think Rocket was first in a magazine.
It's his first comic book appearance, and a lot of people stay away from magazines. He was in, I believe it's Marvel Preview, either 7 or 9. It's Satana. Actually, it was in the collection that I just got, and I've never owned it before. In fact, when I first saw it, I was like, I recognize this cover. I don't know what it is. Is it a key book? I don't know. Maybe I've just seen it, and I actually had to look it up and be like, oh, snap. Rocky, which he was originally known as Rocky Raccoon, is in this book.
That's a good get right there. You are on a roll, by the way. I just want to say that. You are on a roll.
Hey, listen, we talked about what might be in the near future.
Yes, we can't talk about it anymore. We don't want to. 2 reasons. Don't want to jinx it, and nobody's going to believe you.
Sure.
So that's the 2 reasons. But hopefully more on that next week or the following week or what have you. But we got Bullseye fan, Elektra fan, Daredevil fan, Nori Jordan in the house, and also Nori Jordan loves his Thunderbolts. I'm always excited to get books, but this week's submission was extra special. Elektra is one of my favorite characters, and I was extremely sad when I had to sell her first appearance a while back. Due to the price, this book was hard to get, but I was fortunate enough to get Daredevil 168 back into my collection. My son helped me with the picture, and we both agreed to show respect to all of my favorite characters at once. I loved Elektra long before I even knew what a Thunderbolt was, but I am glad to know this character has good judgment in picking a team. Take care, everyone. I love this, but I don't think Nori Jordan is eligible because Nori Jordan has won Fresh from the Comic Shop this year.
Okay. Wow, that was a really cool picture. That was
really cool indeed. Nori Jordan, please let us know if that is not the case, but we'll check. We'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it is not eligible. Joseph, your last fresh get of the week. What do you got?
So I recently have been picking up a lot of stuff like this next book. I find them really fascinating because this is a prototype book, and there's a lot of characters over the years that before the initial launch of the character, there was kind of a prototype version made. It happened a lot in the kind of that era where Marvel was transitioning into from basically Atlas Comics to this new Marvel world with superheroes. So the pre Fantastic Four or around the time Fantastic Four, a lot of the anthology books and stuff like that, they tested characters out and then eventually used that model to prototype a character that they integrated into their superhero stories. And that is the case with this book right here. This is Journey into Mystery number 78. And to put into perspective the age of this book, issue number 83 is the first appearance of Thor. So this is 5 issues before Thor's first appearance.
So cool.
We see this character on the front who is known as the Sorcerer, as we see up here, and you may be able to guess, this is a prototype of Doctor Strange. A couple years before I gotta look up exactly what year this is. I want to say it was like 2 years before Doctor Strange made his first appearance in Strange Tales number 110. This was a prototype essentially of the character. And there are a bunch of these. There's one for Doctor Doom. There's another one that's a prototype. Well, there's the prototype of Swamp Thing. There's actually multiple prototypes of Swamp Thing and Man Thing before those characters came into existence. But yeah, super cool. Earlier Journey into Mystery issue, and it's got a really nice key significance. Thought this one was an interesting one to show off.
It's definitely interesting. It has a great story. I'm trying to stretch here a little bit because Nukes Comics has given us, he's done a little research. So I'm stretching it out right now. So all we see is Joe's mug on screen, but it won't be like that for long because check this out, Joseph. Your second fresh get. We want to talk about that, don't we? Right here. Look at the magic of what's called the internet. The magic of the internet.
Thank you, Nuke. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 280 is the issue number.
But magic of the and quick fingers on my part, by the way. You know what I mean?
Before you bring that up, I just want to comment right here on what Tishu had to say. Yes, 1986 is the 50-50 newsstand year. So anything pre-1986, newsstands were actually more common. But there are collectors that, like the newsstand. And, part of the reality of it is it's harder to get high-grade newsstand stuff because of how they were handled. Some newsstands are outside. And, they weren't handled the same way with the same care that comic book stores handled books. So those high grade newsstands, even pre-1986, are sought after. And some collectors just prefer the barcode over the little Spidey head or, whatever it may be. So it's what I always say to people is in my claim sales is this one's a newsstand if you care about that. Because some people do, some people don't. It's the way it is.
Yes, it is, and it's just the way it is right here because I'm going to bring it up. It's not how I wanted to bring it up, but you know what? You can't always get what you want. That was a song. I don't know if you all know that, but it was a song.
I think it was Baha Men.
Yeah, that's exactly who it was, Joe. Your knowledge of music is second to none. Second to none. But yes, but as you can see didn't want to do it as a video, but here we are. For some reason, that's a video. But yeah, exactly the same. So very cool.
Slightly different. Usually with foreign books, the trade dress is obviously different.
Bring that up.
And usually around the edges and stuff like that, there's, maybe different coloration or, you can see slight differences all around the cover of this book.
Is there something that Silver Sable? Was it say right there? Your left hand.
Yes, Sable de Plata.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Anyways, that's a great book. It's a great book. Thank you, Nukes, for pointing that out to us. Very well done. All right, moving on. We have 2 more submissions here. We got Mike Hags. I like this one right here. I think you'll like it as well. Mike Hags, tagged by my homie Raising Elm for Fresh from the Comic Shop, and as well as Day 13. Your favorite non-super powered hero. I have to go with the man Conan. My dad loved Arnold. He was an idol to my pops. Since I was like 4 to 5 years old, we would watch Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, Terminator, Predator. If it started with Arnold, he was all in, so I was all in. I saw this movie poster foil variant. It was a must get. I was in when they said foil, but the Arnold poster cover is just a banger all around. It's very cool looking cover right there. I love the foil. It's got a lot going for it. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not a huge fan of Virgin covers, but as far as they go, this one looks awesome.
Yep,
there certainly is appeal to Virgin covers. It's not my particular thing, but yeah, this one really, really looks awesome with no trade dress.
Yep, and with that, we have one more submission. C to the G. One of the best collaborations to come out of San Diego Comic-Con this year has to be the At Kith for Marvel X-Men 60th Anniversary Collection by Ronnie Feig, head of Kith. A special collaborative edition of X-Men 1 with an origin story featuring Arcade that has the X-Men running around New York City in a fun one-shot. That's just one of the best parts of the collaboration, inspired from the days as a kid pulling the 90s Marvel X-Men cards. That is so cool right there, by the way. How cool is that?
Yeah,
Look at this.
That's awesome. Also,
too.
Listen, Arcade is the most underrated Marvel Comics character, and I will say that over and over again. Super, super cool character. One that I love, one that I grew up on playing video games. Really, that's how I got my first introduction. Is I think it was the Spider-Man X-Men video game, if I remember correctly, Arcade's Revenge or something. I think that character flies so far under the radar, and this is a really good picture. I like this.
By the way, also, the pack consisted of I didn't put this down. I knew there was more. The pack consisted of 7 ASICS sneakers. The sneakers came in a special box, an outside sleeve featuring the iconic X-Men 1 cover by Jim Lee. A box, when assembled, resembles a trading card box. Once inside, sealed in a Mylar bag in the same sleeve print, is one random ASICS sneaker inspired by different X-Men: Beast, Cyclops, Gambit, Rogue, Storm, and Wolverine, with a 1 in 36 chance to pull a special Wolverine in his yellow and blue suit colors. The ratio was the same as it was in the 90s cards if you pulled a hologram. That's so cool. 2,500 pairs of each character, with the special Wolverine having only 416 pairs. The whole vibe was if you were opening a pack of cards. Not only do you get a pair of sneakers, but also a limited edition card in the character. You get 7 different cards that came in different ratios, and the more rarer ones graded by PSA. I was lucky enough to pull the Gambit pair, which was one of the colors I wanted. Unfortunately, we did not pull a PSA graded card, but what an exciting nostalgic experience this was. Hopefully we get some more of these in the future. Wow. That is unique, Joe.
Yeah, that's the least. That's awesome. And I have been wearing ASICS. Like, they have been my main brand of shoes that I've been wearing since middle school. Like, I'm all about, now I get the standard, the black ones with the white. Maybe sometimes I get the red trim with the white as well. But yeah, I've been, Onitsuka Tigers. I've been wearing those since middle school. They were like the official punk and emo shoe of my childhood.
Dude, this is so cool. This is so cool. I'm blown away. We need an administrator, somebody who takes care of administrative duties, because I don't know. I think C to the G may have won as well, but my God, this is a strong showing.
I don't remember C to the G winning.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to go with my last.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with my last fresh get, and then I'm going to do a little digging as well, because you may have to just talk to the audience and all that.
I'll do it. But you show your book first, right?
My last fresh get of the week. Yeah, why not? Yeah, shall we? Let's do it. Again,
proud.
This is the third Daredevil book I got. I spent $8 for this. Okay. $8. So you're like, oh, this better be a good showing, because you spent $3 for the first Typhoid Mary. And yeah, I did. But this is Daredevil 183. What's the significance, Joe?
First meeting of Daredevil and Frank Castle the Punisher.
Got that right. For $8. Okay. Granted, it's not a newsstand, but still.
All right, you win. I'm proud of you. This is, in my opinion, not only is this just a great key, it's Frank Miller book, Frank Miller cover. It's a really underrated book. These two characters have, battled. They've battled alongside each other. They battled with each other in the comics, on television. I'm sure in other media as well. And I really, really hope that we get to see them together in the MCU, which is currently, it seems like the case.
It's been confirmed that Bernthal's coming back in the series as the Punisher. So that
is a book that, as far as like first meetings of two characters, that's got to be in the top 10.
Absolutely.
That's up there.
I agree. Now I'm going through here with some of these previous fresh from the comic shop voting Dilios, and I don't know, maybe C to the G has not won. I don't
think so. Not this year, at least.
C to the G, let us know the honest truth here, because we got some Chris, or what's your name? Your name's not Chris, it's Joe. We got some deciding to do. Yeah. So that right there ends the submissions for Fresh from the Comic Shop. By the way, if I'm going toe to toe with Joe, Joe wins, no doubt about that. However, I win in impressing Joe, I would say. Am I right?
You did.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so Joe, we have to figure this out. We have to pick a semifinalist. This is
there were some really cool ones, like
Paul
Bond's print of
that's unique.
What looks to be either a print or the original. What's it called? Like the test copy or whatever, or one of the test.
Timeout. Huh? Why have we? I know we have yours here. Raising
boy.
out.
Oh
yeah, Chet.
Jeff, remember how I said I was proud of you?
Yeah, I don't feel so good about myself right now.
Yeah,
because it was a first of something here. What the hell, man? I don't know what happened here, but are you pulling it up?
I'm pulling it on my phone right here.
I'll read it. Because is it another great submission, by the way?
Oh, we talking about the Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Let's pull you up. Can you swipe over? I think there's 2 pictures there. Swipe over.
Oh, yeah.
This is a first in comic book canon, fresh from the comic shop history, because it is the first of a connecting submission. Howdy, comic fam. Since the new Star Wars Ahsoka series is dropping in just a few weeks, I decided now was the time to pick up Star Wars The Clone Wars issue 2 for our little man's PC. I know it's too late to get Ahsoka Tano's first appearance at cover price, but I thought picking up her second appearance in a standard comic book was well worth the $75, especially with it being in high grade. My wife and I haven't had an opportunity to go back and watch the animated series of the same name yet, but we have been thoroughly enjoying the live-action series on Disney Plus here lately. Even Eli seems to be enthralled with the lightsaber duels. That's a good start. It's a good start, Justin, by the way. And space warfare, all while he sits on my lap. He and I are joined at the hip like a lightsaber to a Jedi. Connected, like this week's submission connects with last week's submission. Swipe to the left to see the final product. I like first shots, good or bad. They're always memorable. That's an Ahsoka Tano quote. Much love, comic fam. This is great. This is great, Justin. Another great one. So yeah, we got it in. By the way, Nuke he's got some issues with your iPhone battery. What's going on?
Listen, I don't know how many times Pope of Chilitown has called me out when I've sent him like a screenshot or something, and my battery is at single digit percent. It always is. I'm on my phone just constantly.
Of course, you're a businessman. Let's be honest.
I'm busy. I'm very popular.
Very, very. I mean, you're talking to me most of the time throughout the whole day.
Usually, I'm FaceTiming you while I'm brushing.
And it's things like, I can't get through the day. What do I do? But we get through the day.
Beach house.
No, we get through the day together. It's all good. We forgot one more submission. One more submission. How can we forget Chet's submission, everybody? Chet does have a submission. Here we go.
Fellow enthusiasts, witness my latest acquisitions. The legendary Action Comics #1, the iconic, amazing Fantasy #15, and Super Pro Special Edition #1. Oh, yes, brace yourselves for the sheer audacity of fate as these precious relics decided to embrace a little pool party. Vintage charm, they say? Who needs a pristine collection when you can revel in the glory of water? Stained pages and ruined covers. Excuse me while I try not to lose my mind over this collector's catastrophe.
So he obviously dropped those books in the water, and I'm glad he showed off the Super Pro next to the Action Comics #1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. I mean, that's class right there.
My favorite part is that it's not even Super Pro #1; it's Super Pro Special #1, which was like the annual.
I mean, he was psyched. He was absolutely psyched. So. But obviously that's all gone to shit because they are in the water outside your house, I think. Joe, we got problems, man. Is he still there?
Why? Yeah, I'm here. Oh, is he there? Yeah, he's still there.
No, we have to decide on a freaking semifinalist, and this week is difficult, man. Tissue. I would have expected grape juice rings on those covers. All right, I don't know. God, where do we start, Joe? Which one sticks out to you first?
There's a couple. I think we both had an inkling that C to the G stuck out.
You like this this Bond, Paul Bond, aka Brixton and Company LLC?
Yes, yeah. Paul Bond's definitely sticks out. Really cool, interesting piece. The C to the G with the shoes and the whole setup and everything. Very, very cool. Something I didn't know about, despite loving the X-Men, loving arcade, and loving
ASICS. Yeah.
Oh man, there were a lot of other good ones too. I mean, like a bunch of them are popping to mind. Mark Leneker's always bringing some, really obscure thing that 99% of us don't know about. We got Dopey Duck here. And congrats to him on his first timely. That definitely makes it not only unique, but also a great story. Obviously,
Dr. Plagueis did it again.
Won already, right? Oh yeah, Dr. Plagueis, but he's not eligible.
Not eligible.
Raising Elm's not eligible either, right?
No.
Yeah. So,
but it's excellent. Yeah.
I will tell you, one of them hits me harder.
Oh, then all of those that you mentioned.
One of them that was already mentioned.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Raising Elm is eligible.
Oh, that doesn't make it any easier.
That does not make it any easier. Wow. Yeah, that was one of the top ones for sure.
That's a comic book canon first as well.
It is a comic book canon first. Do you have one that you're leaning towards?
I do. But Raising Elm is right up there, but I think this one nudges it out.
If it's not Raising Elm, I think we probably have the same idea. Yeah. Is it C to the G?
It is C to the G. Yeah. This is just astounding. Like, it really is.
So cool. And like, let's be real. Con exclusives are normally, as we all know, kind of crap. This is not crap.
Incredible.
This is really cool.
It's incredible. It really is. So, C to the G, congratulations. You are moving on to the semifinals. You will go up against next week's semifinals. We're going to have the first semifinals happening tonight or tomorrow, so please be on the lookout for that in our stories. So cool, man. It really is so cool. Again, thank you so much to EGS Comics and Spider Dude Comics for the August book of the month, Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red. Y'all better be following EGS and Spider Dude. The links are down below. Again, 5% off for any EGS orders using Canon 5. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Joseph, any final words? This has been a great night, guys, by the way. We understand it's late in the summer, deep in the summer. People are on family vacations. We had a great showing. We really appreciate it. I'm going to say it again. The most precious commodity is time, and we appreciate the time you spend with us. Joseph, what do you got? What thoughts do you have?
Yeah, I mean, like, I love this show. I love doing this show every week. It's such a good time. Like, I'm on vacation right now, but, I told my wife one thing. I was like, I'm not going to work too much. I promise. I'm going to bring my work laptop. I'm going to bring some comic stuff, but I definitely need to do comic book canon. I don't even want to skip a week on that. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up, making this super fun, hitting the like button, commenting in the chat, submitting stuff. It just makes this fun week in and week out. And Jeff and I, we call each other Saturday evening or Sunday morning, and we're scrambling to get a show together.
We really are.
We really are. But, it's worth it every week.
Totally week in and
week out. So thank you all. Also, one quick thing. If my dead body is found like in a sand dune in the Outer Banks somewhere, just know it was Chet. Someone report that or whatever.
Yeah, no, we got it's all documented. This is going to stay as a VOD video on demand on YouTube, so you should be good. Dan, easy now. Easy. He can definitely hunt you down. So maybe just give Chet a little bit of love, just to soften the blow of what you just said here. I should not have brought it up. I apologize. Yeah, group comic hug indeed. Like, this is the coolest community. I swear, like, again, 22 million people watching with us, 20 likes. We love you guys. But seriously, the friendships that you all have made, everybody here, from guests to audience members, it's really inspiring, and we absolutely love every single minute of it. So This is great. This is great. Again, showing the humor here that we deal with week in and week out. Oh, really? Is it a beer or is it a grape soda? Or is, anyways, wow. I think we're going to call the show, though, because we can keep going on. Double plot twist, Jen is Joe. Oh, God, I love it. I love it. I love it. Anyways, thank you all. Again, we will be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Seriously, y'all, be good to others. Be good to yourself. Until next week. Peace.